right. This is Darker Days Radio. I'm one of your hosts, Mike, and tonight I'm joined by Chigg. How's it going, Chigg?
Pretty good, Mike. How you been?
Oh man, I've been doing great. It's been a while since the two of us have been on a show. I don't think we've both been on a show since 2020.
That's far too long.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. We've got a really exciting episode tonight, talking about. Well, I mean, it's a heck of a find. This is probably one of the most epic episodes of Dark Days Radio ever. Culminating after just about 12 years of this, we've struck gold, and we cannot wait to share this game with you tonight.
Do you want to get right into it, or do we have some news first?
Well, I mean, yeah, we have our news, but also just like a game update. So, Chigg, what kind of gaming have you been doing lately?
Well, my local gaming group, we're still meeting remotely, of course, for COVID safety. But we recently wrapped up a Fate of Cthulhu game, which was a pretty fun system. And then our newest member decided that she wanted to run a game, so she ran a game of oh man, what was it called? Not Kids on Bikes. What's the other one? That same 1980s nostalgia. Tales from the Loop. Tales from the Loop. She was a first-time GM, and she was surprisingly good at it. I don't think she listens to the show, but that's fine. Not all my friends have to. Just my real friends. But I'm going to go ahead and give her some praise here because, first-time GM, she needs, everybody needs a little praise, good positive feedback, and she did a wonderful job. So
awesome, outstanding. That's great to hear. And do you like that system, Tales from the Loop? It's used for a lot of the Free League games, isn't it?
I like the system. I'm not super impressed or won over by Tales from the Loop. As a child of the 80s, I don't have a whole bunch of faux nostalgia for how awesome it was, but it's fine. It's good at what it does, and it does what it says on the tin. So hey, there you go.
Awesome, good stuff. And moving on from the game update, let's cover a little bit of gaming news. And I think the only news that we really want to cover is Victorian Mage. So, Chigg, what's going on with that?
Victorian Mage, unlike all of the previous Onyx Path crowdfunding, was moved over to Indiegogo. They have reasons for it, but we're not going to get into that here. It has been wildly successful at the time of this recording with 2 days left. Sorry if you're listening. I believe the campaign is over by the time this goes up.
Correct.
They're sitting at $92,000 and they're currently working on their next stretch goal. So, I mean, it's for a niche product, for a small, historic timeline setting for a not vampire game coming from Onyx Path. I think it's doing surprisingly well.
Yeah, it definitely is. And we've talked to quite a few writers before who have mentioned that with World of Darkness historic games, they usually didn't sell well, except for Dark Ages Vampire. So it's really exciting to see this be so successful. And I think that comes down to the fact that it does a lot of things really, really right. It isn't just a steampunk cash grab. Not that steampunk's really much of a thing anymore. It's its own very unique and interesting analysis of what mage would be like in the Victorian era, and goes into a lot of depth, not just only about the traditions, but also the order of reason as well.
Right. The not yet the technocracy.
Correct. So cool.
It also has a whole entire chapter on the crafts, the disparate. And there's some in there that I haven't seen get write-ups before anywhere. So looking forward to that.
Yeah, so it even has new stuff. Awesome. Good. So, Chigg, let's move on over to the World of Darkness.
So, today, Darker Days listeners, we're going to discuss the White Wolf game, Alien: The Hidden. Now, Alien: The Hidden was being developed to be the new World of Darkness game for 2004, but it was cut due to the end times. They ended the whole World of Darkness, they scrapped the game line, never saw the light of day. Now, as some listeners may know, I personally am very much online. I'm there 24/7. I see you in the Discord, chat with me there. I have contact with a lot of game designers and developers, both from old White Wolf Studio days and other companies. Not a brag, just, giving you a little backstory here. Anyway, I got a DM on Twitter from a person who worked at White Wolf in the early 2000s. Not going to name any names here since technically this manuscript shouldn't have been made public, even, going on 20 years later. And I don't want to get anybody in trouble. But I know that you listen to the show, and this one's all for you.
Yeah.
So, like I said, got a DM from a game developer in the early 2000s telling me about a game that White Wolf proposed to tie into the end times. Not Demon, not Hunter, not something that would become either of those. A new game that would take the World of Darkness outside of what we had seen before and make it a game of not just personal horror, but a game of cosmic horror. That's right, listeners. Alien the Hidden is the title on this manuscript. Mike and I have both read it, and we're going to tell you why it could have been the greatest White Wolf game of all.
Yeah, definitely. We're really excited to be talking about this tonight. And we've had this for a little while. We had to wait for the right time, and I think that's now. And before we share this with you, our lawyer did advise us to make a few blanket statements. So this content is not covered by White Wolf's Dark Pack agreement and is being discussed for review, education, and parody purposes under international fair use laws. No, we cannot post the manuscript on the Dark Days website, since this would violate Paradox's copyright. And we did actually find a grainy draft cover artwork for Alien the Hidden on the Wayback Machine, actually, going through the old White Wolf website. So we're currently consulting with legal to see if we can actually share that. But yeah, let's actually just talk about this game. Let's just dive into this because this is really exciting. So what is Alien the Hidden? Alien was supposed to be the 10th modern World of Darkness game line, or I guess maybe 11th if you count Orpheus. And yes, you'll be playing as extraterrestrials. The Hidden refers to a loose organization of social anarchist extraterrestrials residing in our solar system. They oppose the hegemony, an intergalactic organization that conquers and oppresses sentient life forms. A clique of the Hidden found Earth in the 1890s, just as the Second Industrial Revolution and, more importantly, the spiritualism and spiritualist movements were kicking into high gear. Now, the spiritualism movement is important because it showed humanity's potential to the Hidden. The various forms of extraterrestrials are psychic beings. Many can communicate without talking or need of a translation or translating languages. And they saw through this movement that mankind was finally developing into a psychic species of their own. However, psychic power wasn't exhibited evenly. Some people have tons of noumena, while others have none and have never even seen anything supernatural in their lives. So the Hidden Clique reported back, and others arrived, setting up staging grounds on Earth and Mars. They monitored humanity, studying them, and trying to uplift those that showed latent psychic powers. Then, in July 1947, everything changed. A hegemony long-range exploration vessel crashed in Roswell, New Mexico. And it was only a matter of time before a hegemony recovery fleet would arrive. And to make matters worse, the US government was now aware that there were aliens among them. So Alien the Hidden assumes that you play members of hidden cliques, but there are a number of hegemony cliques operating in kind of like a shadow war against them following the Battle of Pluto in 1999. There's also a third pseudo faction that exists, made up of members of the True Faith, a cosmic religion amongst the extraterrestrials that seeks to replace all cultures and beliefs. So, that's all pretty cool, but what's the point? Where's the horror in this? Where's the World of Darkness game? Because we've seen Chigg some other games like Dark Ages Fae, where they're just kind of off in their mists, doing their thing. They don't really interact with humans that much.
Right. This all sounds well and good, but Mike, why do they bother interacting with humans?
Yeah, so they need humans to thrive, if not survive. And the Hidden especially, they need to balance their own psychic needs, which could harm humans. If they try to take the psychic energy out of people, it could devastate them. It's kind of, you're going to see a lot of allusions to other World of Darkness games when we talk about this, but in Changeling you have ravaging, correct? And that kind of can tear the glamour from individuals. Aliens can do a similar thing, or they can kind of gently draw on you like excess psychic power. So they have to balance their psychic needs with their belief that humanity can be uplifted and become a counterbalance to the hegemony. That's really their big goal. Meanwhile, the hegemony remnants in the system, because some of them survived that big battle around Pluto, a couple of ships survived, and others just kind of are hidden away on Earth. They go around, they abduct humans to drain them of their psychic energy. And they could do this with their ships, or they could just, literally just grab someone in a back alley, that sort of thing. And of course, the kind of overriding fear in this setting, this apocalyptic event that's incoming, is that the Hidden are afraid that a hegemony battle fleet is going to be coming, especially after the previous battle and the exploration fleet was destroyed, and the recovery fleet as well. So that's really the big fear. But human psychics are a big deal, and it's really easy for the aliens to find them. Human psychics can cause crop circles. They're not caused by aliens in this setting, which I find really interesting. Humans can have these mind storms, which cause weather events, weather control, and can impact their surroundings. They can cause things like historical thunder marks that you find in like the steppes left by we assumed lightning bolts, but it's really in many cases caused by these mind storms. And extraterrestrials have learned that these signs can lead them to psychics and sensitives.
It was a real nice little twist there that UFOs show up because of crop circles, not crop circles and other phenomenon show up because the UFOs or because the aliens caused it.
Yeah.
I thought that was a real nice twist. It's very peak White Wolf right there.
Yeah, it is. And that's one of the really there's so many awesome ideas in this game. And it turns a lot of things on their head with regard to like UFOlogy and I guess like conspiracy theories and the like that have existed. And yeah, after there's a mind storm, it's really a race against time to protect and save this human, the psychic, from the hegemony, who are out there to drain their psychic potential. And to make matters worse, there's elements of the U.S. government that are now working with the hegemony, trying to get technology, trying to get leg up, even though it's just these small minor cliques in the area. So many of the hidden cliques are trying to move psychics out to Canada or Mexico. They're trying to get them outside the United States. And another tidbit that I really liked and found interesting, well, actually, not sure if I want to say I like this, but so according to the book, Russia and the former USSR have no psychics and sensitives. So that's one of the, I would expect, the big meta plot mysteries that they wanted to explore in the source books. The unfortunate thing, of course, and this is peak 90s White Wolf. If you wanted to set your game in Russia, I guess you can't because there's no psychics there.
Thanks, Baba Yaga. Appreciate it.
Yeah, I think I was wondering if that might be what they were trying to reference and trying to tie it in with the metaplot. That happens a lot in this, which I think is really interesting. Demon the Fallen kind of set that standard of trying to kind of unify the cosmology a lot of ways, which also Mage did. But have a lot of like interesting interactions with the different kind of supernatural types. And Alien the Hidden also tries to do that as well.
Honestly, I think that Alien the Hidden kind of does it better than Demon, but that's my own personal bugbear.
Yeah, I mean, people get into flame wars about this. I've made comments on the Mage the Podcast Discord about Demon, and some people don't like it. They don't agree with the assumptions that were made, but Aliens got some really interesting stuff in it. And then following that up, we would be remiss if we didn't mention kind of the fourth faction that exists. And they're kind of the antagonist faction. There's no like player rules for them. I would expect there'd be like a source book or something later that expanded them. But there are the Reptoids. And the book says that they cause cattle mutilations. So is that aliens? Are they kind of like confused with the Chupacabra? I don't know. But these lizard-like aliens were once the shock troops of the hegemony forces, but they went rogue after the Battle of Pluto. and it's rumored that they're beginning to infiltrate human society. So yeah, really interesting stuff. We kind of set the stage, Chig, but this is a White Wolf game, and the best part is always the splats and the cool powers. So you want to dive into the different types of extraterrestrials you could play?
Absolutely. So the splats, the types of alien, the ETs that you can play, begin with the Greys. These angry guys come with the ability to change from small, non-threatening little dudes with, big black eyes and kind of a little fat buggy head and a tiny little body, to big, tall monsters ready to kill you, just right then and there.
Mhm.
It's their splat ability. They're kind of the combat angry troops that you see.
Yeah,
they're the good guys' answers to the reptiloids.
right. They are, and kind of like they kind of feel like the gangrel from Vampire. I mean, they feel like all the werewolves, really. But they are more in control because they don't have that kind of rage that the werewolves do.
No, it's all purely at command, hulking out,
Yeah.
hulking out for humanity. Next up, we have the Orions. These are the rulers of the hegemony. Say that 3 times fast. These are all gorgeous humanoids. They're easily able to blend into modern human society as they are tall, willowy, with symmetrical features. It's hinted that they may have seeded the Earth with life, or at least human life, back in prehistory.
Yeah. I don't know, Chig. Did you get any like vibes from this write up, or was I just picking up on something that I shouldn't have been?
Uh, they okay. So they're
Do
all
we want to jump into
tall,
this
beautiful, blonde, white people.
alabaster
People
skin,
in quotes.
alabaster skin, and yeah, more perfect than everyone else?
And they're in charge of things. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like the she from Changeling, just
a little bit.
ticked up a couple extra notches because I mean you can have different, ethnicities of she. Yeah,
Mm. Yeah, a little
it might
problematic.
be a little problematic. We'll call it that. Problematic. That's a good
I
word
think,
for it.
yeah, I think this was like a rough draft though, so like maybe someone would have caught that, in the final, but yeah, it could have been a problem.
Absolutely. This would absolutely have been hammered out. This is 2004. They would have caught this. We're well past White Wolf's problematic phases.
I hope so. I would have hoped so. Yeah.
Next up, in stark contrast to the Orions, we have the Little Green Men. The Little Green Men are hideously twisted goblinoids. They're unable to make their way unhidden in the modern world. They make great use of the befuddle ability to cloud the minds of regular mortal men. Also noted that they are the undisputed masters of the technology used to move between the stars.
Yeah. Chig, did you actually notice what the faster than light explanation was in this game? Do they even provide it? Because that's usually something that's really usually in science fiction games, that's something that the writers love to explore. Like first thing, they're like, well, how does faster than light work? Did they have a jump drive? Did they go to light speed? Did you actually explain that or cover that in the manuscript?
There was a lot of, techno babble and gobbledygook, and
Okay.
it was no worse or better than your average Star Trek episode.
Okay.
So
I must have just completely zoned out while while reading that part. All right, let's move on.
it was very technical. Your eyes may have glazed over.
Yeah.
But moving on, next up we have the Darrows, who are angry and descended from a worker caste of the Orions. The Darrows are the militant wing of the aliens, always spoiling for a fight, but they know it is best to not strike you at humanity just yet. Not until they have sufficient numbers.
Yeah.
After them, we have the Ancient Aliens, which is an artist group that has had the most contact with humanity throughout the centuries, having come to Earth and posed as various gods and inspired the building of the pyramids, the Nazca Lines, and many other wonders of the ancient world.
Mhm.
Yikes.
Yeah, that is a problem. That is
I was just saying that they might have moved past their problematic phase. And then
I,
the ancient aliens come up and they're like, "Oh no, 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 no! Indigenous people, non-Europeans, they had to have help." So, yeah, mm,
yeah, yeah, a little bit of an issue as well that they are part of the true faith, which is all about erasure of cultures and beliefs. So
oh
that
yeah,
is not great.
they are the tip of the true faith
They
spear.
are. And I mean, discerning Darker Days listeners and fans of the World of Darkness would, of course, notice that this religion is called the True Faith. And there are, of course, the True Faith Numina powers in the World of Darkness. There's nothing in this book that really ties those two together, but I think that was the authorial intent was to kind of link the the true faith, which originally in like early vampire assumed a very Christian stance with it. It was all about like using your brandishing your cross to like repel a vampire. But as other games came out, even actually Kindred of the East, they really explained it to be all different kinds of religions. So I think that could have been something interesting to play with, or maybe would be problematic. I don't know.
I'm not sure how you would make these guys not problematic. Moving on, moving on.
Yeah, we should move on.
The last splat included in the core book here are the Rods, a elusive and secretive group, the lore keepers of the hidden. They appear as giant amoeba-like organisms in their natural forms. Only by using the transmogrification power are they able to interact with the human world that they find themselves living on.
Yeah. Chig, did you feel like these guys, the rods were kind of the like developers pet splat? Did you get that vibe?
Um, kinda. Yeah, maybe they had a giant amoeba thing going on. I'm not really
No,
sure. There
that's
was
that's not what I meant. But like they come up all the time, when they're talking about like the history of the hidden and also talking about like the hegemony and other things. They always bring up the rod as being, so important. They always use the rod in lots of examples, partially because they're weird amoeba things and it's tough for them to without their transmogrification um to interact with humans. So maybe that's why they have to come up quite a bit. And the other thing I noticed is when you're reading through the power section, transmogrification is really overpowered. It's like flesh crafting, telepathy, telekinesis, conjuration, and divination all in one package. For example, transmogrification's three dot power lets them transmogrify. They should have picked a different word for that. Lets them transmogrify into a copy of, let's say they could be a copy of the US president. And if they do so, they will know what the US president would be thinking in certain situations, right? They like gain because they almost become what they
well,
transmogrify into.
yeah,
It
they get that psychic link. So
exactly. That dude, that's so powerful. I mean, the power does require that they either study the subject for a long time or they have to physically touch it. So, in like kind of action situations that lets them do like quick transmogrifications. But yeah, that one I think that needs to be play tested a little bit more. Little too much going on there.
well, I'm not sure that this book made it to the playtesting, but
I
But
don't know.
yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
their signature power. It's a bit much. But without it, you're just playing a blob. So
yeah, that's true. They do have if you botch your roll. Oh my gosh, that's right. Yeah, if you botch your transmog roll, you like can't transform for the rest of the day or something, right? Until you rest.
yeah, it's
So
until
you're
you
just
get
kind of
a full
screwed.
rest. Yeah, you're just blobbing around at that point. So
Yeah.
eh,
Or you just have to always use willpower when you transmog. That might be the safest option.
true. And God forbid you botch.
Oh yes, it's brutal. Anyway, so let's talk about the this is a White Wolf game, so let's talk about the cool powers. And Chig, I've got a whole big block of text here, so stop me if you want to comment on anything or bring up any points. So I think the most basic thing is the psychic shroud. So several of the extraterrestrial species have the ability to hide their true nature from mortals and other supernatural monsters. They can project a psychic illusion, making them appear human. However, psychics and the psychically sensitive can sometimes pierce this. It requires a roll, but a regular person does not get a roll at all. And also, supernatural monsters can make rolls too. Correct? I think I read that in there.
Yeah, it mentions that full rules for interaction with other splats will be included in the player's guide, which of course,
Okay, right.
we didn't get because we didn't get a game. But
Yeah,
yeah, we really needed the player's guide, or maybe even the little guide that comes with the ST screen would have
right.
had some simple crossover rules.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah,
Okay. Yeah. So some beings are able to kind of like pierce the veil and get past that. However, as we kind of mentioned, the Greys, little green men, the Rods, they are unable to, they don't have the psychic shroud. So they can always be seen. The Rods, however, they have transmogrify, so they can use that to, get around things and interact with humans. So that's good. And I mean, as a Grey or a little green man, you can still interact. It's just more challenging. It's kind of like the Nosferatu situation you have in Vampire. It's obvious in older editions of Vampire, it's obvious that they're not human, and that has its own drawbacks.
if it's dark enough in that parking garage, you could just be a short guy in a big cap and sunglasses and a trench coat. Who knows? Who knows? No one's
Yeah,
gonna believe if you say that you saw an alien. It's just a short guy in a trench coat and a
yeah.
floppy
Or
hat.
like in like what was that Lovecraft story we reviewed on that one Darker Days episode where there's the Meow and like the robes with the fake hands.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. The Whisper in Darkness,
Yep,
my
that's the
favorite.
one. That's a good one. Yeah. Oh, so geez, I completely missed the next bullet. So the book does mention that some, etherite technology is able to break through the psychic shroud. So yes, you can absolutely play They Live using etheric goggles. And I loved that little nod to that classic film.
Absolutely.
It's one of Chigg's favorite films.
I'm watching it again later this week.
Holy smokes. All right. Great timing. So the extraterrestrial power stat is the orgone. Am I pronouncing that correctly? I didn't actually look up the pronunciation.
Yeah, Orgone.
Orgone. And this stat represents their life force and how connected they are to the broader universe. So it's, when I read it, it's an abstract concept. It's got a lot of basis in like, this is going to be a weird statement, real pseudoscience, right? It's a real pseudoscience term. And it feels kind of like Arate, but it's different. Chig, you're a resident mage expert. What kind of a vibe did you get from Orgone compared to Mage's Arate?
Right. So Arete is more your human creativity, your avatar's uh, attainment of enlightenment,
Mm-hmm.
whereas Orgone is more of the alien's deeper connection to the universe.
Right.
So there's some deeper underlying universal truth that all the aliens are connecting to somewhere somehow. And it might have something to do with human psychics. Maybe that's our first steps on the journey to connect to that. But yeah, aliens are just so far advanced that they don't have psychics. They are basically all psychics.
Right. Right. So yeah, your orgone informs you what your character's minimum psychic reserve is, and this is the psychic power that an alien kind of always has access to, and also tells you what your maximum psychic energy is, and also provides your caps for like how many dots you can have and different cool powers. So psychic energy is what links the extraterrestrials and humans together. So extraterrestrials usually they usually just have their psychic reserve, which is between 1 and 5, because you can have orgone between 1 and 5 dots, and the oh, I'm sorry, wait. You can have up to orgone 10, but that's one of those things like generation, how you can go up to like higher disciplines. Usually most characters only go up to orgone 5. So your psychic reserve is usually 1 to 5, and the average human just has 1 psychic energy. But some very special humans can have a ton of excess psychic energy. And aliens can either steal psychic energy from humans or be gifted it through various acts, kind of like an act of an exchange really has to occur, or they can invest psychic energy. An alien can invest psychic energy in an effort to uplift humans.
Right, and investing psychic energy, it's likened to, a farmer planting seeds.
Hmm.
So yeah, it's a little bit that you give away now, but down the line you can come back to this human after they've, reached their full psychic maturity, and you can reap the benefits of that. So it's not entirely a selfless act, although, maybe the aliens are telling the
Well, I
humans it's a
mean,
selfless act.
here, yeah, that's a good point, Jake. Because the thing that's kind of implied is where are they getting the psychic energy from? They're usually not able to use much of their psychic reserve because they don't have a lot. And if they're trying to do this to a regular human, I forgot how many points they had to invest, but it was quite a few. It's in the double digits worth of points. So where are they getting this psychic energy from? Are they stealing it from other people? That's definitely what the hegemony is doing when they create one of their sensitives and the like. So that is an element of horror right there in the game, which I think is kind of interesting.
Yeah, we're not just batteries, but we're kind of just batteries.
Yeah, yeah.
We have the
I mean,
potential to be more, but from the aliens' point of view, yeah, you could spend a couple hundred years or a couple thousand years on this planet, really invest a lot, I mean a lot of energy into us and grow us into, another spacefaring race that could go out to the galaxy and, join the resistance, or maybe join the hegemony. Probably not, because, we're humans, we're rugged individuals like that. Or, you just come and, drain us dry. Easy
yeah.
peasy. Move on to the next planet.
Well, that was one of the what was inferred in the history section is that there have been several species that were just wiped out by the hegemony, and just their limited psychic energy was harvested. However, humans, they might have more potential. They have that psychic potential that others don't have, and that's what kind of makes them special in the setting, and that's why the hidden are here, interacting with humans.
Yeah, it's a shame what happened to Mars. They just didn't have enough potential.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so the conversion, we're kind of mentioning it, but one orgone equals one psychic reserve, which equals 5 psychic energy maximum. That is another. They had to massage these terms a little bit more before this came to publication. Psychic reserve, you only have a limited psychic reserve as an alien, but it does recover at 1 point per day. So that's kind of you have a slight recharge that can occur. But if you want to have extra psychic energy, because a lot of your powers, especially the high ends like transmogrification, befuddle, etc., they do require a lot of psychic energy. So you want to store it either by grabbing it from humans, or being gifted it, etc. And one of the really cool, innovative things was that your psychic energy is tracked because it can go up to 50 dots. There's 50 dots all around the edge of your character sheet, which you can fill in, which I thought was a clever little thing, like almost like a scoreboard for like Carcassonne or something.
I mean, yeah, you could fill it in, or since it's around the outside of your character sheet and it's numbered every 10 of them, you could just have a paper clip that you moved around the edge. Since you're
Oh,
gaining and spending psychic energy. Just a thought.
yeah, no, that's clever. I like that.
I stole that from Deadlands.
Oh, okay, awesome. I mean, yeah, if it works, it works. Um, oh yeah. So here's another big thing, Chig, and I know you really like this one as well. So we're talking about rules. Alien has a really interesting fix to some of the skills, or the abilities, I should say. So, in Classic World of Darkness, you have alertness and awareness, and it's always kind of an issue. Which is which. Which one is the supernatural one? Which is the mundane world? And this game actually had a really innovative, clever solution, which I really wish they'd include in the other 20th anniversary games. So instead of 2 skills, alertness being the mundane detection skill, and awareness being the supernatural detection, Alien has 3 abilities. You have alertness, awareness, and psychometry. And this clears up the overlap when there's like a border case between alertness and awareness, and also plays into the psychic themes of Alien, because psychometry is dealing with extra natural things like psychics, alien space junk, what have you. Awareness is still the supernatural stuff. Alertness is mundane. And the other innovative thing they did is that they put each of these abilities into a different skill column. On your character sheet, you've got your talents, your skills, and your knowledges. It puts one in each of them. And that means that you won't have to tax yourself. I think in Usual World of Darkness, awareness and alertness are both skill points. No, they're both talents. They're both talents. So if you want to be good at detecting things, you have to pay this huge tax. Let's say you want to put 3 dots in both. That's 6 dots. You're not going to have many other talents available to your character. So spreading it out like that's a way to give your character some more specialization, but also not tax the heck out of one of those columns.
Also, by adding the third skill, psychometry, as a knowledge, it means that you have to be trained before you can do it. Just like, computers or law or any of the other knowledges. It's not something that you can just, pick up as a natural ability. So that means that first, none of the other splats are going to be able to detect your secret alien space junk or the psychics who live around them. But with enough time and enough training, they might be able to learn.
I didn't. Oh man, I didn't notice that. That's super clever. I like that.
Yeah, it's clever. It's elegant. It solves the problems of why haven't we heard about these guys from the other books before? It's all right there.
Yeah, geez, that is, man. I wish this game was printed. I'm sorry, I tipped my hand. But there's really exciting things in here. All right, so we've been going on for a while. Let's talk about the backgrounds a little bit. So most of them are reskinned. There's different details. Resources is still a thing. Contacts usually focus more on like organizations like the NSA or the Defense Intelligence Agency. Allies are usually more like conspiracy theory newspapers. But there are 2 really interesting backgrounds that are included. Those are Arsenal and Void Vessel. So Arsenal was originally printed in Hunter the Reckoning, and it's probably the most innovative part of that game. It gives access to guns for the characters, and if you have 5 dots in Arsenal, you can get a tank, maybe. But in Alien the Hidden, it measures how many people you can arm with your alien weaponry. So for 1 dot, it's just you. You've got like your what was that thing in Men in Black? The
noisy cricket.
The noisy cricket. There we go. Yeah, 2 dots. You can equip 3 people. 3 dots. It's the player group, so your clique, or maybe a small organization that your character just kind of has in the background. And at 5 dots, you can equip a small army. So that's pretty cool, and it kind of plays into some of the more like epic gameplay that you could have against the hegemony forces in this game.
Honestly, I've been a vocal opponent of the Arsenal background in Hunter because it's just pure cheese and goes against the regular folk fighting the supernatural idea of that game. But here in Alien the Hidden, I see what it was meant for. This is absolutely the best implementation of this background that I've seen in any White Wolf game.
Yeah, Arsenal is really cool. And of course, we have the Void Vessel, which is really interesting, but it says that you need to have the Alien Storyteller's Handbook to get the full rules, which, of course, we know was never written. So that's kind of a bummer. But the Void Vessel background does give you some descriptions of what the different dots mean. So for 1 dot, you have a single-person vessel, which is capable of only subsolar travel. And I guess it can take off and make it out of atmosphere, right?
Well, sure, you begin in atmosphere, so you have to be able to return to atmosphere, right?
I guess. That's pretty sweet for a 1 dot little ship, so that's good. For 3 dots, you have a ship that can be crewed by your entire party, the entire clique. For 4 dots, you have a ship that has jump capability, so you can leave the solar system at 4 dots, and that's pretty cool. In 5 dots, your ship can make instantaneous jumps, and it says this is classic White Wolf right here. It kind of just hints that maybe your ship might even be capable of time travel.
Well, I thought that was talking about, time dilation, since you're jumping across the universe to, wherever you're going. You're not going to show up where Alpha Centauri was six years ago. That wouldn't help anything.
I did I misread that? I might have. I thought it was hinting at like a Star Trek 4 kind of
Oh, I mean,
situation.
I I could also be wrong.
Or maybe in Superman when he flies around the sun and saves Lois Lane.
If you fly your 5 dot void vessel around the Earth counterclockwise enough times, it will go back in time. But yeah, it's a real shame that we didn't get the storyteller's handbook, because I would be interested to see how those rules would work out. Maybe you could pool your dots to get a common resource. So instead of having just a bunch of little X-wings, or the whole group gets a nice big Millennium Falcon or something
Hmm.
with cool arsenal weaponry or defenses or all kinds of fun stuff. Who knows?
Oh, that's a good idea. If you could like mix backgrounds, you spend Arsenal dots to improve your ship. You spend Allies dots to get like extra crew. That could be a cool system.
Yeah, it'd be kind of like what are they for mage? Not
Your
Horizon.
your Chantry.
Yeah, your Chantry. Yeah. Ugh.
Yep. No, that's cool, man. Yeah, I was thinking like yeah, havens as well. There are some rules for communal dots for communal havens and the like. That might be Vampire the Requiem. Correct me if I'm wrong, dear listeners. Join our Discord. Anyway, that's pretty much it for the cool rules that I had written down. Chig, was there anything else that kind of stood out to you about the powers and that kind of stuff?
No, you really covered the main points really concisely there.
Yeah, thanks.
So what do you think about Alien the Hidden? Do you have any story ideas for the game, or anything that you would do if you were to run this game?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't put a whole lot of thought into what game I would run because, like, I don't think I could. Maybe in the future when I can have like people together, I'd be able to run this because I can't. We can't stream it. We can't stream this game. It would cause too many legal issues. Um, but I am overall very surprised, pleasantly surprised by the content of this book because this is 2004. They could have ripped a lot of plots from the X Files, alien colonization, hybrids, all that kind of stuff. But White Wolf decided to go a very different route. This book feels a lot more mysterious, despite revealing a lot of truths in the history section, and it's really rough around the edges. There's a lot of explanations which are kind of contradictory, and it kind of some things they just don't kind of mesh. Things are non-cohesive, and it gives it a real like coast to coast AM broadcast kind of feel. I feel like when I'm reading this book, I feel like I'm listening to Art Bell. You know what I mean, Chig?
I get what you're saying. I didn't get the whole Art Bell thing myself. I saw the contradictions and the different points of view more as just in character beliefs rather than
Mm,
actual capital T truth.
right.
But yeah, I mean it's White Wolf. It's the early 2000s. They're gonna have groups who believe A and groups who believe anti A, and they can't both be right. But then again, it's White Wolf, so maybe they can.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, what'd you think of the whole like psychic alien crossover angle? Because that is something that I hear a lot when I'm researching secret frequencies. I do frequently listen to old Coast to Coast AM episodes, and they are bonkers crazy. And that's a real running theme is that there's these special people that either were psychics and interact with aliens, or they interact with aliens and become psychics. And that seemed to be something that they're really going for, that White Wolf was going for in this game. So I was wondering like what you kind of thought about that.
I thought that it was a nice addition to the World of Darkness. The World of Darkness technically already has a psychic splat, the sorcerers who work for the technocracy.
Mhm.
That's often one of the ways that they go. It's a whole branch of Numina is psychic powers,
Right.
but this is definitely not that. It's a whole brand new thing where rather than just you have one dot in start fire or you have two dots in lift rock. It's more a deeper connection to reality
Mm.
is what the aliens bring to us
Right.
when they harvest our psychic energy. They reveal to us some of the deeper secrets of the hidden universe.
Yep.
So from one point of view, that could be awesome. That could be universal brotherhood, truth and love and peace and kindness amongst the stars. But from another point of view, that could be, Dread Azathoth, the nuclear chaos at the heart of the universe, cares not for you.
Mm.
One day Cthulhu will rise, all will be lost, nothing means anything. So it really depends on which direction they were going to go with that.
Yeah.
Knowing White Wolf and since it is a game of cosmic horror, I'm leaning toward the latter, but it would have been surprising, pleasantly surprising to see them go toward the universal brotherhood kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know. The whole concept of the uplifting sounds very positive. It would be very interesting if that was the storyteller's secret. The terrible secret of space was that space is terrible, and maybe we didn't want to be uplifted. Maybe ignorance was bliss. Yeah, I could see it going either way, but we'll never know. We'll never know. And yeah, I think the other kind of story concept that I really liked about Alien was that it works really well with Mage the Ascension, with the uplifting and the like. But there's other metaplot elements that seem to cross over well, as we mentioned with other games. So, does Russia lack psychics because of Baba Yaga? Maybe. If the hidden were to go loud, to go out of hiding and reveal themselves to the masses, what kind of backlash would there be? Would it be basically a paradox backlash? I think that's really conceptually interesting and makes the game pretty cool and work well with World of Darkness.
And it just occurred to me, what would the werewolves think of these other planets? Do the other, well, I mean, the other planets in our system, of course, have Incarna,
Hmm.
but are there other Gaias out there that they could, give up on ours and go protect? I mean,
Maybe.
who knows?
Hmm. That's an interesting crossover. Did you notice? I'm sure you picked up on this, but it seems like the aliens always bypassed the moon. They never set up bases there. They never landed there. It's something that they always went past. What'd you think about that? In the context of, say, changeling, werewolf.
Well, I mean, yeah, you can't land on the moon. That's where Arcadia is, obviously.
Yep. How convenient. But no, it's good that the writers were paying attention to that. So pretty neat stuff. All right, Chig, let's wrap this up. Would you play Alien the Hidden?
At my table with my group, I absolutely would. I think they would dig it. The themes, the chronicle ideas, 100%. Unfortunately, like you said before, due to various legal issues, we wouldn't be able to actually stream this or play it online in any
Yep.
way. But yes, for my personal group at home, 100% would. Yes. How
Awesome.
about you?
Yeah, I already tipped my hand. Definitely. This is really interesting. If we can get some players together sometime in the future, that would be awesome. But I mean, it's a shame that it never came out. I would tell people don't bother White Wolf, don't bother Onyx Path, don't start a write-in campaign to Rich Thomas telling him to make 20th anniversary Alien the Hidden. That's not appropriate. We just wanted to share this as a relic of the past, of something that could have been if the World of Darkness continued.
Yeah. We hope you all enjoyed our review, and we will catch you next time. But until then, Mike, where can our devoted listeners find us?
Well, they can find us at our website, which is darker-days.org. You can find all the episodes of Dark Days Radio, including our very famous horror heartbreakers from the last 2 years, which are really great. We covered Nightbane and Nightlife. How? Look at that. They rhymed. Um, In addition to that, you can find us at facebook.com/darkerdaysradio. We are on Twitter at darkerdaysradio. And we have many other places you can find us, like Instagram, Tumblr, on tabletop, YouTube, Twitch. And of course, we have our super fun Discord server with a link in the show notes. And I do want to mention that, of course, our Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay stream is going on strong. And we're also going to be starting an Iron Kingdoms role-playing game stream, which is going to be on the Darker Days Twitch. So pay attention to our Twitter and our Discord and Facebook, and we'll have links to that when we are about to go live. You can check that out because Iron Kingdoms is super rad. And I think that's it for this episode. And Chigg, really, it was a lot of fun covering Alien the Hidden with you. And I hope listeners enjoyed it and thought it was interesting. And to all the listeners out there, take it easy and have a good night.
Stay safe and watch the skies.
This has been an episode of Darker Days Radio. Special thanks to Occam's Laser for the intro, outro, and new bumper music from their hit album, 9 Circles. Check out the rest of their work at occamslaser.bandcamp.com.